Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Mirror Dungeon solo video. In today's episode, we'll be using the most knowledgeable amnesiac in the game, Dieci Meursault. While he does have a lot going on in his kit, most of it can be boiled down into two different things: discard and shield generation. Discard as a mechanic is pretty simple to understand. Whenever you use a skill that discards, a second skill is removed from your skill queue to enable better cycling and let you use more powerful skills more often. For Dieci identities, it also comes with the benefit of changing their insight stack to match whatever skill was discarded, which can provide various bonuses. Meursault's second biggest mechanic comes in the form of erudition, his unique status effect that provides shield whenever you discard. On top of that, it also buffs his skill 3 by being able to convert into insight and give it a massive damage buff. With that said, it is good to mention that his skill 3 does not discard, and therefore its only real purpose is for straight raw damage and nothing else. And while yes, he does have sinking as well, it's ultimately inconsistent with his application being tied to his insight stack. It's more of a nice bonus than something that should actually be relied on. Starting us off, we choose Melted Spring and Grandeur for our starting gifts while heading into Noggle and Hammer for the first floor. This floor's boss is against Guido, and he can be considered the first roadblock of the run. The entire reason he's a challenge is because of his Be Cleanse of Sin skill. If you have 5 nails when this skill's second coin connects, it will stagger you and can potentially keep you stun locked turn after turn. If that was all, it wouldn't be that difficult, but combined with being a human fight where we cannot choose who to target, and with Guido liking to spam this attack as much as possible, the only way to actually beat this fight is through sheer luck alone. We have to corrode Capote and pray that it clashes with Guido's Be Cleanse of Sin skill. If it rolls tails, the burn will end up staggering Guido, buying us enough turns to finish off a few of the N-Corp grunts. We get lucky again with Guido not using the skill when he recovers, letting us turn the fight into a 1v1 which we easily win. We take Bloody Gadget as our reward and head into Hell's Chicken for the next floor. Here we buy Lois Star, Carmilla, Painkillers, and Oracle before making it to Papa Bongi. Being resistant to blunt damage, there's not a lot to talk about for this fight. The only thing that could prove a threat would be the head chickens themselves, as we are weak to lust damage, but the constant passive shield generation from discard is more than enough for us to easily ignore all of their attacks.
어떤 시간과 이런, 이것도 녹음되고 있는지는 미처 몰랐네요. 적들이 흔들흔들.
이 또한 지식이되다. 지식을 마주하고 겸용하라.
미끼가 배고파했어.
이 또한 지식이되다. 지식을 마주하고 겸용하라. 지식을 마주하고 겸용하라. 삶은 영원하지 않아. 삶은 영원하지 않아.
이렇게 망설임 없을 텐데.
이 또한 지식이거든.
저분들이 적의 일부를 보고 있어.
무지에서 도피하지 마라.
전략이 그럴싸해요.
지식을 마주하고 겸용하라.
승객이 딱콩 한 방 먹였어.
이 또한 지식이거든. 지식을 마주하고 무지에서 도피하지 마라. 무지에서 도피하지 마라.
We take Blue Zippo Lighter as our reward and head into Slicers and Dicers for the next floor. Here we fuse Artistic Sense while also finding Special Contract before making it to the boss against the Wayward Passenger.
하루 기다리는 거 못.
This floor was almost an instant reset. If we had gotten unlucky and found Bamboo Hat and Kim facing us instead, there's no way we'd be able to win. The only reason I picked this floor was because I couldn't remember whether Meursault was weak to slash or pierce damage, and gambled on it being pierce. I, of course, was completely wrong and almost ended the run early with my very poor memory. Of course, the Wayward Passenger isn't much easier than Kim, as he could easily stagger us on the first turn. I got a little lucky with him rolling mostly tails, allowing us to survive the turn without getting staggered. Of course, being staggered on the first turn wouldn't have changed too much with this fight, as he would have still retreated into his portals, though without being staggered it does allow us to take no damage from them. Once the passenger returns, we can survive again barely because of the amount of shield we gain, and skill 3 staggering one of his blades. Of course, he just retreats again right after, where we simply close every portal to force him back. It is interesting to note, though, that when you do destroy a portal, it does trigger Chef Ryoshi's support passive, giving us a tiny bit of healing. The reason I find this interesting is because other abnormality fights that have a sub-enemy similar to the portals don't actually trigger her passive when you destroy them, but for some reason the portals do. Anyway, once the passenger returns, we pummel him into the ground and don't let up until we finally finish him off.
개체에게 일기 전투가 성공적으로 끝나면 모두의 희생을 기리며 축배를 드는 것도 나쁘지 않겠죠. 직원들
이 또한 지식이거든. 아이는 영원하지 않아. 지식을 마주하고 겸용하라.
방금 공격
지식을 마주하고
다른 개체에게도 다시
겸용하라.
해볼래요? 저희 직원들이 개체의
지식을
분리를
마주하고
파괴했어요.
겸용하라.
미리미리하게 잘했어?
공격당 수련인데 선배는 그걸 한눈에 알아.
이 또한 지식이거든. 지식을 마주하고 겸용하라. 무지에서 도피하지 마라.
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다.
We take Fluorescent Lamp as our reward and receive Broken Compass as a bonus before heading into Time Killing Time for the next floor. Here we buy the Eltree Snare, Illusory Hunt, Pendant of Nostalgia, and an extra skill 3. We also fuse Distant Star and Rags before heading to the boss against the Time Ripper. Just like with Guido, this fight is one that requires a lot of RNG in order to actually beat. Unlike Guido, however, it's much more than a single skill that makes it such a problem. A multitude of different factors all combine together to create a fight that's nearly impossible to get out of the first 3 turns.
직원들이
First is the Time Ripper's main status effect of Bleed. Obviously, it's one of the most dangerous status effects in the game for solos, and will always be dangerous even in the smallest amounts. The second problem is that the Time Ripper has much higher clash power than us when he's channeling his time. This, of course, could be easily remedied by simply using Ego, but if that was all, this fight wouldn't be a problem. On the second turn, the Time Ripper uses 3 skills: Extraction, Mutilate, and Are You Afraid? Extraction is a super dangerous attack that inflicts a ton of bleed, so obviously we have to clash with that. The other 2 are both slash skills, which means no matter what we clash with, we will always take fatal damage from the other. Mutilate is the more dangerous of the 2 skills, so we want to clash with that one, but that brings up an entirely new problem. our sin resistances. With our clash power being so outmatched, the only way we can beat these skills is with ego, which will change our resistances. If we end with regret, we will become weak to both pride and envy, which is the only damage types the mini robots do. And if we end with capote, we become fatal to gloom, which the Time Ripper's final skill is. No matter what we do, the likelihood of getting staggered and then inflicted with a ton of bleed the following turn is astronomically high. The solution to this is fairly obvious when you stop and think about it. All you have to do is finish the turn with chains of others, reverting Meursault's resistances to their defaults, where you are weak to nothing and easily survive the turn without being staggered. Or, alternatively, you can completely forget about the fact that that's even an option and continuously reset over and over until you get the perfect RNG of having only a single one of the mini robots using their single coin skill. Yeah, I absolutely made this fight harder than it needed to be for no reason. If I had just remembered base egos were a thing, I could have probably easily beaten this fight in maybe just 2 attempts.
위험한 공격이 찾아올 거예요.
이 또한 지식이다. 지식을 마저 경영하라. 지식을 마저 경영하라. 지식을 마저 경영하라.
땡기랑 분석 가능하다. 계속
경영하라.
충격이 딱 하는 방법이었어. 대체 부위가 필요했어요.
이 또한 지식이다. 지식을 마저 영원하지 않으니 지식을 마저 무지에서 도피하지 말라.
With that, we take skeletal crumbs as our reward and receive Thorny Path as a bonus before heading into a certain world for the final floor. Here we buy Greycoat and Temporal Brittle, while also fusing Midwinter Nightmare before heading into the final boss against Nelly. Nelly is a much more tame boss than the Time Ripper. She does possess some slash skills, but as long as we prioritize clashing with them above anything else, she's pretty free. Like the Time Ripper though, she does gain a ton of clash power against us since we have a Butler Mark, but thanks to technically being a sinking identity, we can beat them no problem when she's at minus 45 sanity.
지식을 마저 경영하라.
아, 싸워치면서
이 또한 지식이다. 지식을 마저 경영하라.
제가 도움이 될지는 모르겠어요.
이 또한 지식이다. 지식을 마저 경영하라. 지식을 마저 경영하라. 또한 지식이 된다. 겸양하라.
칼날이 잘 드네요. 아마 그 공격이
지식을
약점이었겠죠?
마주하라. 겸양하라.
꽤 나쁘지 않은
지식을
공격이에요.
마주하라. 겸양하라.
그걸 한눈에
지식을 마주하라. 겸양하라. 무지에서 피하지 마라.
한방 먹었어. 에게도 도움이 될지도 몰라.
전투를 통해 잊은 것과 배운 것을 살피고 다시 지식을 쌓아 디에치의 일을 해결할 뿐이다.
And that's how I soloed Mirror Dungeon 4 hard with only Dieci Meursault. All around a very solid identity. Being able to generate shield passively and having a very powerful skill 3 makes it fairly simple for him to fight his way through most encounters. Though I can't say I recommend using him in an actual sinking team, he's far too inconsistent to be good there. Anyway, that's it from me. Like and subscribe to not miss next time where we'll be using this character. Goodbye!